Good morning, and thank you. I'd also like to extend my welcome, and like Dan, I'm excited to have you here for training and to kick off a great season, great stewardship season, 2020. The purpose of this presentation is to give you the broad overview of our stewardship program, why we do, what we do, and where we do it, and then end with the specific learning objectives of our training. If you have any questions, please type them into the Q&A and I'll address them at the end of my presentation. The primary way that aquatic invasive species are spread from water body to water body is on boats, trailers, and associated gear. There are over 100 boat launch sites in the Adirondacks, probably over 200 when considering that many unofficial launches are scattered throughout the Adirondack Park. Well over 30,000 boats are launched at these sites each summer. With these boats coming from other Adirondack Park waters and other New York State waters, and 40 other states and 6 Canadian provinces, for a total of 2,722 distinct water bodies in 2019 alone. This number of boats and this number of water bodies represents a high amount of pressure for aquatic invasive species on Adirondack waters. Launching boats has the potential to bring new aquatic invasive species into water bodies where they are not currently found, leading to an infestation by a new aquatic invasive species. While retrieving boats has the potential to bring established aquatic invasive species from other water bodies, resulting in their gradual spread throughout the region and beyond. Common aquatic invasive plants in our region include water chestnut, Eurasian water milfoil, and curly-leaf pondweed. And though these are less common, we also have 3 aquatic invasive animals in the Adirondack region. These are the zebra mussel, spiny water flea, and the Asian clam. You will learn more about these and other aquatic invasive species, how to identify them, a little bit about their biology and ecology, and why we are concerned about them as part of your training. The goals of our stewardship program are simple, and these are to prevent new aquatic invasive species from invading Adirondack waters and to prevent established aquatic invasive species from invading other waters. You will hear during your training that prevention is the lowest cost and most effective option for managing aquatic invasive species. As once an aquatic invasive species is established, eradication is highly unlikely and ongoing management can be very expensive. Your primary duty as a boat steward is to inspect boats, trailers, and associated equipment for aquatic invasive species, and to remove any organisms you find, both on boats launching and retrieving. There are a wide variety of watercraft, and we will teach you how to properly inspect each type. The majority of boat launches don't have stewards, and ones that do don't have them present all the time. Thus, we want boaters to get in the habit of inspecting and removing organisms from their boats, trailers, and equipment themselves. Thus, in addition to inspection, you will also educate boaters on the importance of cleaning their boats, and you will demonstrate and describe to boaters how to clean their boats, trailers, and equipment. Through these actions, we hope to empower boaters to take action themselves to prevent and slow the spread of aquatic invasive species. Boat inspection and hand removal are effective methods to prevent the spread of most aquatic invasive plants, but hand removal is not effective at removing most small-bodied aquatic invasive animals, such as zebra mussel, spiny water flea, and Asian clam. For these organisms, we need to use high-pressure hot water what we call decontamination. Many of you have been hired to operate our decontamination stations located throughout the region, and you will receive additional training on how to maintain and safely operate that equipment later this week. All of you will be collecting key data from the boaters you encounter using the Watercraft Inspection Steward Program Application, or WISPA, and you will be trained on how to use this tool this week. Data collected using WISPA was used to create the summary statistics on boats I shared at the beginning of my presentation. But that data has a number of important uses. For example, using WISPA data, we were able to determine that boaters who have encountered stewards before transported fewer aquatic invasive species, 3% of boats versus 8% for boaters who had never encountered a steward. This result shows that steward engagement increases the number of boaters who clean their own boats. This training will have more and expanded emphasis on communication and engagement with boaters to continue to increase the number of boaters who clean their own boats. Meeting the two goals of our stewardship program requires a regional approach. We operate the largest aquatic invasive species prevention program east of the Mississippi River. Our program consists of 120 stewards stationed at 46 boat launch sites and 26 decontamination stations. Our stewards are on duty from Memorial Day weekend to Labor Day, with coverage at each location ranging from 5 to 7 days per week, 8 to 12 hours per day. Over $2 million are invested in our program each year, with major funding coming from the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative and the Lake Champlain Basin Program, both federal sources, and the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, state funds. And we also have funding from a variety of lake associations and foundations to support the program. Given the extensive geography of our program, we have divided the park into smaller regions. Each region has a supervisor with 10 to 15 stewards and decontamination techs assigned. And there are currently 10 regions. Here is our current distribution of regions. We have, each one has been given a name. Cranberry Lake, St. Lawrence region, the Paul Smiths region, North Champlain, Tri-Lakes, Long Lake, Fulton Chain, Piseco, Scroon, South Champlain, and Sacandaga. Each of you was assigned to one of these 10 regions when you were hired, so you should all know what one you are in. In closing, we have designed this training for you to acquire some key skills. These skills are, at the completion of this training, you will be able to properly and productively engage with boaters, following social distancing and PPE requirements. You will be able to talk to boaters about aquatic invasive species and why it is important to prevent these organisms from establishing in our waters. You will be able to inspect boats, trailers, and associated gear for aquatic invasive species and properly remove and dispose of these organisms. And lastly, you will be able to collect boater data using the WISPA tablet-based survey. Lastly, I want to say that this week of training is not the end. Rather, it is the beginning of your training, which will continue through the first part of the summer as part of your weekly staff meetings in your region. So this concludes my presentation. I'm going to pause to allow you to think about and type in any questions you may have, and then I will answer them. Thank you.